Hi guys, Mr. Johnny here, and right here 5 degrees centigrade. How about that? It's gonna be chilly even for Big Clive. And to prove it that it's a real temperature, I'm just gonna leave it somewhere here, so from time to time I can show. In this video we're gonna take a look at this. This laptop, you moron. Tablet with very squashed screen in which you can see the reflection of my LED light. Anyhow, the problem, it doesn't charge. After a quick research, I found that the problem might not be just a simple micro USB which is dead. It might be a charging chip, it may be some ripped off traces. Just by looking at them actual socket, charging socket, I do see some wear, but I won't say it's the roughest socket there is. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see that. In this, it's relatively easy. You just can peel this off right like that. You can then take a little screwdriver. You can see the temperature climbs up. I have the doors closed right now, actually. So the temperature climbs for whatever reason. The reason might be, it may sound ridiculous, but me breathing. Let's just take some screws out. I won't bore you with that. By the way, I just noticed that it misses screws. I just took this one out and I see that 2 screws are missing here. Huh. So it's been already in service, and that serviceman failed apparently. Okay, screws out. Now, I'm gonna take this thing. We should try peeling the back cover off. It should be reasonably easy. This is just piece of plastic. Just do this and unclip the freaking thing, trying to not peel off the screen, which is really damaged, as you can see. It may sound again kinda ridiculous. Why don't I want to peel off the screen which is damaged? Well, because it's gonna shatter. It's gonna just go into million pieces, and I don't want that. So yeah, it's a bit pesky, not the best. Since this scene is quite cosmetically damaged, I won't feel very bad just going with X-Acto knife and proceeding. The owner won't really care for a couple of little tiny dings. The side came off easy, but near the corners it's always a pickle. The problem with prying it apart is you do not want to dive in with your X-Acto knife very deep, because you risk damaging some stuff inside. That's no good. I know where the board is. It's right here. Right here is a battery, which I don't want to poke, even though it's discharged, but still. It requires quite a bit of force, and to apply that quite a bit of force, you need to hold it tight. And for that, again, I need to go out of the shot. Now we can finish it off with a knife. Oh, goddamn. See that little bugger? It's a screw, I reckon. God damn it is. Freaking. I just feel that it holds on there way too good. Oh, and it pops right off. Good thing that I noticed that screw before I wreaked havoc. Alright. Let's look inside. Here you can see the micro USB, which is a bit damaged, don't get me wrong, but it's not the best, it's not the worst. As it's a battery right here, let's just pop it off. It's a connector. It is a single cell right here. Let's zoom out a little bit. It is a single cell, but multiple wires go to the little protection board. First thing first, let's go and try measuring the voltage on the battery, just to see what state it is in. Let's use this little toy for that. There. Interesting. I don't know where's what is what. The red's supposed to be positive. I mean, the meter is doing something, so... So I'm supposed to see some battery voltage right here, but I don't. Okay, let's beep it out. Right here, you can see a socket, and you can see that these two pads seem to be connected to this trace right here, which goes to this test pad, and these two on the far left should be connected to the polygon. Let's see if that is the case. Then these two will be ground, so these two black wires are indeed ground, and these two, which are these red wires, are indeed battery positive. Why do we need to know that? Well, because I now will know exactly where the B minus and B plus is, so now I can use my lab power supply to push this battery along a little bit, set it to low voltage, like 3 volts, and bring the battery from the dead, because it apparently is. Or at least try to do that. Alright. Yes, black wires are connected to the polygon, and red wires are connected to that pad, which goes on the SIG trace. So indeed, that is the case. Now I can push it, I think. Or, you know what? Now I can plug it back in, connect a charger to it, and measure the voltage on that little pad, and measure the voltage on this pad right here with respect to this, which is the chassis. Negative, common, 0 volts, whatever you like to call that. B minus, whatever. So let me do that, let me plug it in. I'm gonna use this handy dandy little meter on the charger. No, one of these, to see if there is some consumption or not. Let's connect it up. and there is no consumption. So we go and we test the voltage on those pads that I talked about. Black probe right here, red probe right there. And we have no voltage. Now let's see, these three pads are suspiciously close to this, so it might be, you know, test pads for them. Test pad for the socket. Let's look it up. I don't have 5 volts on any of those. That's kinda rings a bell. Alright. So now take the board out. To do that I need to disconnect the battery. Disconnect this ribbon cable, which is surprisingly hard to do because my fingers are a little bit frozen. As you can see right there, it's still 6.6 degrees. Alright, now I need to be careful because this flex is soldered on, and there is another flex right here which goes to the touch screen by the looks of it. So I need to peel off this black stuff, and yes, it is a touch screen because I can see the controller on the flex. Again, flip this little black thing like this. I found it easier to desolder that than to get rid of that stupid connector, so take some screws out and flip the board. Alright, prepare yourself. See that? I did not desolder that. I just went, took the screws out, lifted the board a little bit, and I noticed that I have what seems to be a spare micro USB socket laying on the bench. Lovely. Just lovely. And the bad thing is that it seems like the pads are gone, because I can see them right here on the socket, which is very bad news, because it's pain in the ass to restore. Oh, god damn it. And there is a flex underneath, which goes to the speaker by the looks of it. Okay, a little update. I managed to get that flat flex out. It just needs to be pulled out. And this thing is just glued on the board, which is normally not a big deal, but it is when it is only 7 degrees here. So I'll have to use a hot air gun to warm up the thing, soften the adhesive this way, and peel it off without damaging the latter one. So let's do that. I don't need high temperature here, just something to bring it up to like 40 degrees centigrade will be more than happy, more than enough. Just heat it up. Again, you can see from this distance it doesn't burn my hand. It is hot, starting to get uncomfortable, but not too bad. And although it doesn't look like it from yours point of view, I hold it at about the same distance, so I won't fry anything, even if I'm gonna hold it there for ages. And if you see the lights flicker, well, they do, because this thing is just that quick. It's just like that quick station that Louis Rossmann has and has sent to Dave, and Dave, being the professional he is, thought that it is an interference. No, it's not. It's just big surges of current causing excessive voltage drop on poor wiring in the house. I'm not bashing on Dave right now, just everybody makes mistakes. Just made me a little bit, you know. Okie dokie, the adhesive is soft and squishy now, and I successfully removed it, so let's I still have a flex somewhere there. Or not. No, I don't. It's just a bit of... Holy sh... Just a bit of, you know, sticky foam. This bit of sticky foam caused me trouble. It held the board down. First thing first, you can see how dusty it is. You can see the proximity sensor and you can see the ripped pads right there, which are totally gone. And there is a little motor which vibrates, so I'll have to desolder that. And then I will have the board laying external to the scene so I can easily work on it. Trying to restore those pads which may result in misery. Which will result in misery anyhow. Alright, you can see how bad it is. Oh, it doesn't look pretty at all. Even if when I brush the dust off, doesn't make it look much better at all. Well, I don't know about data pins, you know, D plus, D minus and OTG, but I may be able to restore the power pins. Well, ground is easy. Ground is here. The most far left pin, which sits on polygon, so you can just bob it over to this pad and it will be fine. But positive right there is connected then to this node of this diode, to the cathode of this diode, anode of which is on, seems to be on the ground. Yeah, so that's a reverse polarity protection diode. That's nice, because I have a little pad right here on its cathode into which I can hook up and have an easy access point. And unfortunately, well, I might be able to solder D plus, D minus and OTG, but I'm not sure about it. I don't have the exact replacement socket. The one I have might not fit, but I will try. What I think caused the problem is you can see that right here there are two pads which are supposed to be soldered to the bottom of the connector right here. And if I take a look right here, I don't see a proper wetting action. In other words, this surface is not really tinned very well. Because if there was proper wetting action, it would have held this socket very nicely to the board, to that big ground plane, which is big area, which has a big area which holds on to the board very nicely, purely because, again, there's a lot of area which holds, and the glue is which is bonding that copper to the substrate will hold it up just fine, but unfortunately it did not flow very well and all. And this little metal piece is a part of the socket. Yeah. Oh boy, it is a hassle. So that's gonna be part 1 because it's 25 minutes long. Part 2 will be me trying to solder it up, because I don't have to troubleshoot it. I see what the problem is. The socket and the board is 2 separate pieces without me ripping it off, actually. So yes, it is indeed the socket which is the culprit. Alright. Thanks for watching. See ya.